I've had this box in my office for 5 years trying to find this incredible font. My kids have wanted to eat this, but it's full of processed sugar. Today I'm going to talk about another really detrimental habit, and that's cortisol. Cortisol is a habit that we all have in the workplace that is hurting us. It's hurting our mental health and our physical health. And today I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can lower that stress through stories and experiences that I've had that have helped me move from that daily cortisol crunch into more of how to take care of myself and be a stronger and healthier employer. One of the first ways I started lowering my stress was to work out. Now that seems pretty basic. Everybody gets a workout and does it on the weekends or in the week. But let me tell you, from my clients and from the people I speak to, the first thing that goes out the window when they get stressed and new projects show up is their self-care and how they work out or walk in nature. They put it on the back burner and they say, well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. The next thing you know, they're working on the weekend and at nights, and again, they're squeezing that self-care. One way to think about this is that your self-care is essential, both to yourself but to your company. Because if you're not sustainable, if you're not in good health, you're going to get sick, so you'll miss days, you may miss deadlines. So it's actually an investment for you and your company for you to take care of yourself. Begin to think of that self-care as non-negotiable, that comes first and then everything comes after. All of the research shows that your brain is in better shape, it's more creative, and can have good spurts of innovation and ideating that doesn't happen when we're tired and heavy with cortisol, where we can't think because we have brain fog. So take care of yourself. Physical activity, I highly recommend it. A second way that I have learned to lower my stress is through mindfulness and meditation. Now I'm going to tell you right off, some people go, oh, that's too woo-woo for me. I don't want to meditate, or I don't, what's mindfulness anyway? So I'll tell you a couple of clients that I have and how they have used what is called meditation, but it's their version to lower their stress. One of them puts music on and does movement. They can't sit down and meditate. They feel like their thoughts are just too fast and too, rapid. So through the body movement, they're actually able to calm themselves down. Now that they're working in a hybrid environment, they just go to their living room or a spare bedroom and put on some music and move for 10 or 15 minutes. They have found when they go back to work, they're breathing deeper, they're exhaling, they're in their body, their stress level is way low. Another thing is mindfulness. So if you start to, let's say, wash the dishes, and you just wash them very slowly, and you're thinking of everything you're doing. You're turning on the water, you're putting the soap in, you're washing the dishes one by one, rinsing them. That is mindfulness. And by being 100% focused on that, no music or television or emails being spoken to you while you're doing it, you're just mindful about this simple task. It may be raking the leaves. We're in fall right now. So each step you take, each rake, you're doing it mindfully and quietly. And just watch how your stress level goes down. And then if along the way you decide to meditate, don't think, oh, I've got to meditate for 45 minutes. If you meditate for 5 minutes a day, your cortisol is lowered by 30%. If you look at the yogis, we don't have time to be a yogi. We've got a full-time job, but we know from what they do that they have very little stress that even shows up. So it is, perhaps a dream in the future, but for right now, give yourself 5 minutes a day. The next way that is getting more and more attention in articles is what's called tend and attend. And it's being social, whether it's with your family or friends or even making new friends. It turns out it lowers your cortisol, and your nervous system itself gets into a harmony and a rhythm that produces dopamine and oxytocin. Both of those are good stuff for you, and they can counterbalance the stress at work that maybe you haven't been able yet to manage. But showing up and being with friends. Now, this has been difficult because of COVID. We all felt it really harshly. But right now, if you can introduce events in your life that are more social, that don't involve work conversation, that really connect you to yourself and to your friends and your family, and being there for them and listening to them, that's going to really lower your stress. Now, you've got to put it on your calendar, because you know people say, oh, let's do lunch, or oh, let's do this. Be diligent in carving that time out for yourself and make it meaningful. All right, this next one is a fun one. This next one is one of my favorites because it's something I forget to do. Laugh. Do you realize that the average child laughs 300 times a day? By the time we become adults, it's 7 to 12. Really? That increases our cortisol. We're all stressed out. We can't laugh. Years ago, when I was in a very stressful merger and acquisition, I was working with new people. I was working with a lot of alpha males, and I had lost my sense of humor. I wasn't very much fun, and really, I could feel that nobody appreciated my presence or liked me that much. And I tapped into a resource, which is my brother, who's been in construction. He's a sports guy. He has all these jokes constantly. So I asked him to send me at least one joke or cartoon a day that I could integrate into my business life, read it myself, see if it was funny, give myself time to laugh, and then I shared it with my team members. I can tell you that he did that consistently for 6 months, and my relationship with my cohorts in the boardroom changed upside down. And part of it was that I changed. Instead of being rigid and stressed and getting more brittle, I loosened up, things were lighter, and I felt better about myself and about life. So find ways to bring humor into your life. If there's a show on Netflix or HBO that you like, go ahead, watch the second one. And the other thing I encourage you to do, and this may sound weird, but laugh out loud. A lot of people will smile when they hear a joker. Yeah. Laugh out loud. And just even if it sounds fake to you, keep practicing it. Because that practicing of laughing out loud loosens up your tight heart and your lungs where you've been putting all that stress, and it can really make you feel better. Think of it. There's a whole practice. There's a yoga practice that is all about laughter and smiling. So maybe you don't have to do that, but just start laughing out loud when you're watching Hacks or an old Seinfeld or Friends. The next way that I have found to lower stress and enhance my life is through music. And I have a great story. I had a boss that was very young and aggressive and assertive and directive. And it was in the early days of cell phones that were through your car speaker. And he called me on while I was driving to an account and starts really bossing me around. It was very directive. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation back and forth. He didn't even care what I thought about it. He shut me down in the middle of a sentence like, Sarah, I just need you to do this now. Let's get it done. And he hung up. So I'm driving along and I am just stressed out. I'm angry, I'm stressed out, and I turned the music on to a different song that I knew was very calming, and I started to breathe and listen to the music. And I got myself the big exhale that, when I've been doing the 4 short breaths and then you're just like, the big exhale. Well, the phone rings again, and it's him. and he's talking to me, and he said, "Hey man, I'm so sorry that I was so, didn't listen to you. I was too directive and this and that." And he goes, "Hey, wait a second. Did you change the music from when I was just calling you?" He goes, that sounds like really calming music. He goes, "Did you honestly turn music onto your radio to calm yourself down after talking to me?" And I said, "Yes, I did. And it worked." And he laughed so hard, and he said, "Oh, I am sorry." And he apologized. And the takeaway for me of that experience was both people don't often know the impact they're having on us. And that if we can have that practice to take care of ourselves and realize that by taking care of ourselves, we also impact and do a positive ripple effect for others. So I highly recommend music. There's so many ways to get it now on your computer, on your phone, with a speaker in your office. But have that calming music or jazz or whatever your music genre is that is calming. Bring that into your space and see what happens. So you can keep eating cortisol crunch and get yourself high as a kite and out of good health. Or why not today check out YouTube's music and find that calming music that's really going to lower your stress, your distress, and create that calming effect that has you at your best.